Okay, so we are back. So we're finally gonna go now. Let's talk about the truck race at Nashville. So the second half of the season is officially underway with this truck race that happened last night. Um, Truck race was the first of the triple header at one of my favorite tracks. You guys honestly know me. I'm a Nashville lover. I'm an advocate of this track being kept on the schedule long term, even after NASCAR fully revitalizes the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Although some rumors around the garage go that might not be the case, but well, let's just get into it. The trucks, they are finally back after a 3 week break. That honestly felt more like a 4 week or a month break. Because I honestly feel like I have just fallen out of sync with this series as a whole. For example, I didn't even know this race was part of the Triple Truck Challenge. I know NASCAR and Fox as a whole, they have done a really poor job covering this, especially since $50,000 is a huge deal for Truck Series standards, but still, this whole like halftime break of sorts for the Truck Series, it just ain't it. It just throws you out of rhythm. It throws the drivers out of rhythm. It throws the teams, the fans out of the loop, and even the broadcast. They acknowledged it a couple of times. I believe Michael Waltrip himself, he even said that he had to rewatch the previous race at Gateway, the truck race at Gateway, to get back in the loop. So yeah, I'm not a fan of long, like 3 to 4 week breaks in between races, unless they are justified, like the 2 week break for the Olympics that we're gonna have in a couple of weeks. If it's like a NASCAR wide like garage shutdown of things. But yeah, it just doesn't feel right for the truck series to not be going on for like 3 weeks for like a long time when Cup and Xfinity races have been going on. So anyways, qualifying was dominated by a playoff bubble, guys. With only 4 races left in the regular season, it makes sense for those guys to turn it up. Stuart Friesen won the pole, with Grant Enfinger second and Christian Eckes third, with Ty Majeski fourth, Raja Karur fifth, Lane Riggs in sixth, Corey Heim, Kaden Honeycutt, Daniel Dye, and Chase Purdy, all of them qualified in the top 10. Then afterwards, behind him in 11th, we have Clint Bowyer making his return to the series. His first start since his retirement in 2020. He's running the 7 truck for Spire at what is statistically his best track. All throughout ARCA, Trucks, Xfinity, Nashville is his best track. It feels like every time he races there, he's a surefire. He's sure to finish in the top 5. Then we have Butterbean, Brandon Quinn. He's also back in this race. He's also back in the Truck Series. His second start of the season. He qualified 12th. Then Stefan Parsons in 13th. Jack Wood in 15th, also back in the 91 truck. Then we have Dawson Sutton running the second Rackley Ward truck, the 26. Great qualifying round for him. He qualified 16th. He qualified better than Ty Dillon, actually. But to be fair, Ty Dillon didn't qualify because of unapproved adjustments. Connor Jones, he qualified 21st in the 66 truck for ThorSport. Then Dawson Cran, 24th. He qualified 24th. He's running the 46 truck as apparently a last-minute replacement for Thad Moffitt. Moffitt, he withdrew from the truck race for reasons that are yet to be disclosed, but it looks like it was a one-time thing, and he should be back behind the wheel for the next race at Pocono in 2 weeks. So then Ben Rhodes in 26, Dean Thompson qualified 29th, Frankie Muniz qualified 32nd. He's making his Truck Series debut, running the 22 truck for the Rion brothers. And then Nick Sanchez in 33rd. He crashed out in qualifying, and the team had to bring a backup car for him. So he qualified 33rd. Tanner Gray 34th. He hit the wall in qualifying. He did not go to a backup car, but will still have to start at the rear to do unapproved adjustments. And then Ty Dillon in 35th and Matt Mills in 36th. Both of them were unable to qualify due to unapproved adjustments, but they all made it in because of owner points, which means that the 3 guys that failed to qualify because 39 trucks showed up, they were Keith McGee in the 27 truck, the second Rion Brothers truck, then Justin Carroll in the 90 truck, and Brian Dossat in the 28 truck. And as soon as the race begins, we have not one, but 2 early cautions. The first caution came out for a multi-car incident on lap 1. It started with Mason Maggio making contact with Dean Thompson, sending the 5 trucks spinning and collecting several trucks towards the back, including some of those who had to start towards the rear, like Timmy Hill and Tanner Gray. Mason Massey, Akinori Ogata, and Brett Holmes, they were also involved. And Nick Sanchez almost got a piece of it. I believe he got to split 2 cars, or 2 trucks in this case, to get through. It was a really close call for him, though. And then the second caution came out immediately after the race restarted for Brett Holmes, who already had damage from the previous caution, spinning again and crashing out of the race. So after that little hiccup, we finally get the race underway. Christian Eckes comes out of this with the lead, with Lane Riggs second, and Stuart Friesen falling to third, and Enfinger falling to seventh. So after that small hiccup to start the race, stage 1 went green the rest of the way. We did have a couple of incidents though. Ty Majeski had some debris on his grill while running fourth, so he had to give up some track position to get it off. Caden Honeycutt, while running third, he reported smoke and smelling of burnt oil on his car. It turns out he had a gear oil leak, and the oil lit up and burned one of his gears so badly he had to take it to the garage. And man, what does this man have to do in order for stuff like this to not happen to him? This is such an embarrassing look for Nice Motorsports. They just did not contemplate today, despite the fact that Honeycutt had a really fast car, or fast truck in this case, running in the top 5, and then a mechanical failure for him to get taken out. Like, he came back in the end, and he managed to finish the race on the track, but still, just a terrible look for him. Just a terrible look for him. This could have been a top 5 day for him without a doubt. Then also Nick Sanchez, another guy who was not having a good start of the race. He got lapped late in the stage, and he got trapped a lap down, so he did not even get the free pass. Obviously, that backup car was not to his liking. Also, Tanner Gray getting lapped, a playoff bubble driver. He already had some damage from the multi-car incident on lap 1. So that car definitely was not up to speed. Christian Eckes ended up winning stage 1 with Lane Riggs second, Corey Heim, Grant Enfinger, Daniel Dye, Roger Carruth, Stuart Friesen, Ty Majeski, Clint Boyer, and Tyler Ankrum rounding out the top 10. Then we go to pit road. The leaders pitted. Eckes won the race of pit road over Corey Heim and Lane Riggs with Roger Carruth up to 4. Then Taylor Gray, Chase Purdy, and Ben Rhodes, they moved into the top 10 due to having some good pit stops. On the other hand, Stuart Friesen and Ty Majeski, they were 2 drivers that had slow pit stops, and they lost a bunch of spots. Stuart Friesen came out 19th, Majeski came out 21st. Then we go to stage 2, and just like in stage 1, it started with a couple of quick cautions on restarts. The first caution came out by the way of Ben Rhodes getting into Taylor Gray entering turn 1, sending the 17 truck hard into the wall on its left side and out of the race. Once again, another playoff bubble driver with issues tonight, and they happen to be both of the Gray brothers. And in the case of Taylor Gray, he got taken out by another bubble driver in Ben Rhodes. And then on the next restart, a Chase Purdy misses a shift, stacking up the field, causing Dawson Cramp to spin and Clint Boyer to get some damage on his front end after getting into the slow 77. Eventually, though, the field settled down on this next restart, and we had some pretty decent action for the rest of the stage. We saw some 4 wide, even some 5 wide racing for a split second in the mid-pack. At least until Lane Riggs and Stephen Parsons started playing bumper trucks with each other. This went on for about 6 laps or so, believe it or not, but it eventually ended with Lane Riggs wrecking Stephen Parsons on purpose, entering turn 3 and earning himself a 2-lap penalty. I'm not gonna get into the specifics of which side am I on, because honestly, it was a part of me felt it was funny, but also another part of me felt like embarrassed, especially since I like Lane Riggs a lot. But I don't agree. If you look at the incident at face value, I definitely would not agree with the 2-lap penalty. I feel like it would have been too harsh. But considering that, you know, there have been a precedent, 6 laps of the 2 of them just beating and banging each other, I feel like NASCAR had enough justification to, you know, give Lane Riggs a 2-lap penalty. Overall, that was just an embarrassing look for them. for both of them. So overall, I'm not gonna comment on that. I'm not gonna offer any further comment on that. Another driver who had issues during this green flag run was unfortunately Frankie Muniz. He suffered from severe overheating issues. He had to come down pit road. The team had to lift the hood up. It looks like some grass had gotten on his grill and it caused all that overheating, so they had to take it to the garage to remove all that debris and let the engine cool off. Tough luck on his Truck Series debut. But yeah, the Stephen Parsons lane rigs incident ended the race, the stage under caution. So Christian Eckes swept the stages with Corey Heim second, then Roger Caruth third, Daniel Dye fourth, Grant Enfinger fifth, Ben Rhodes in sixth, Stuart Friesen seventh, Matt Crafton eighth, Tyler Ankrum ninth, and Ty Majeski 10th. So then we go to pit road, the leaders pit, all of the leaders pit. Christian Eckes, he wins the race off of pit road over Daniel Dye and Roger Caruth. Corey Heim has a pretty slow pit stop. He drops to 9th after his foot slipped on the gas pedal. And Grant Enfinger had an even slower stop, coming out 20th after coming in 5th. So we go to stage 3, and Eckes continues to lead, while Daniel Dye and Roger Caruth battle for second. Unlike the previous two stages, we did get some green flag action to begin things, although it only lasted for 10 laps due to Jack Wood getting spun out off of turn 4 after getting into it with Connor Jones. The next restart, though, is much better. It was much cleaner than all of the previous ones we have seen so far, and that's exactly what Eckes wanted to see. Just a clean track in front of him, clean racing behind him. The rest of the race goes under green. The only stuff we saw that could have, shaken things up was Matt Crafton pitting for a loose wheel under green, and Clean Boyer nearly spinning lane rigs to bring out a late caution and send this race into overtime. But thankfully, nothing crazy happened. Christian Eckes wins in dominating fashion, sweeping both stages and leading every single lap. That's right. This is the first time this happened in the Truck Series since Timothy Peters did it at Bristol in 2012. I didn't even realize that he took the lead amidst all of the lap 1 chaos, because he didn't even start on the front row too, which makes it even more impressive, the fact that he just went from third to first on the first lap, and he never gave up the lead from that point. So not only that, but he also adds to his points lead in the regular season title over Corey Heim, and he also wins an extra $50,000 for winning the third and final Triple Truck Challenge race. And isn't it fitting that all 3 races were swept by the big 3 too? Nick Sanchez at Charlotte, then Corey Heim won at Gateway, and Christian Eckes won at Nashville. For those of you guys that don't think there is a big 3 in the Truck Series, there is. So, other than that, let's go over the notable finishing results, because I really don't have anything much to say. This was a pretty substandard race, Truck Series race, where nothing pretty much happened. It was a pretty quiet race overall, if you take away the fact that sometimes the drivers didn't know how to restart. But Daniel Dye finished second, a career race for him. He stayed in the top 5 pretty much all race long. This really helped him big time in the playoff bubble. And by the way, look at the playoff bubble. It got really tight after this race. Ankrum is shown in like 6th place, but he's only plus 47. So not one of these guys are safe with only 3 races left. The only guys that I will say are pretty much safe, they are obviously the 4 guys that won: Heim, Eckes, Sanchez, and Roger Caruth. And then after that, the only guy that I believe will be safe on points is Ty Majeski. Other than that, outside of those 5 guys, you have Tyler Ankrum, Grant Enfinger, Ben Rhodes, the Gray brothers, Stuart Friesen, Daniel Dye. You got 7 drivers fighting for the remaining 5 spots with 3 races left. This is going to get really crazy. Then we have Corey Heim, who finished 3rd, and Roger Caruth in 4th. These 3 guys, they kind of had a nice battle going on for 2nd. Eventually, Dye held on, but Corey Heim managed to get 3rd from Raja. And speaking of Roger Caruth, this is his first top 5 finish since his win at Las Vegas. Also, Tyler Ankrum in 5th. Great bounce back race for him after just having a lot of terrible luck and bad finishes in for the past like 6 or 7 races. But yeah, in addition to Christian Eckes winning, the McAnally trucks, they finished 1st, 2nd, and 5th. 3 of them in the top 5 with Daniel Dice 2nd and Tyler Ankrum 5th. Then Grant Enfinger finished 6th. Great bounce back from him after, that slow pit stop at the end of stage 2. Ben Rhodes finishes 7th. Matt Mills in 8th. And then Ty Majeski and Jake Garcia round out the top 10. Then Stuart Friesen in 11th, the pole sitter. Connor Jones 12th. Nick Sanchez 13th. This won't look like much, but it was a great bounce back for him after starting from the back on a backup truck and losing a lap early on. The team just rebounded and he managed to salvage a 13th place finish out of it. Then Ty Dillon in 15th, Jack Wood in 16th, Clint Boyer 17th, which is by far his worst finish at this track his entire career. Not just in the Truck Series, but in Xfinity and ARCA as a whole. It seemed like he always finished in the top 5 at this track before tonight. Obviously, that damage that he got on one of the restarts, it definitely played a part. We even saw a little bit of a radio soundbite that just reminded us of the classic Clint Boyer as a driver. But yeah, Dawson Sutton finished 18th. I feel like he stayed in the top 20 all race long. He ran a pretty quiet, solid race. Butterbean finished 19th. Again, we didn't see much of him, but same with Dawson Sutton. He finished top 20. Ran a quiet, clean race. And Dawson Cram. Now, this guy definitely surprised me. Top 20 in his first ever start on that 46 truck that was just struggling with that Moffitt. Great job for Dawson Cram. Then Chase Purdy 21st. After just missing a shift in one of those restarts. He just, I don't know why, but I just feel like he just struggled with restarts all race long, which is why he finished towards the back. Matt Crafton through 23rd after pitting late with a loose wheel. He was running like close to the top 10 or like top 15. But yeah, his playoff chances are slowly fading with this. I believe he's like minus 40, almost minus 50 behind the 8 ball. So yeah, not a good look for Matt Crafton. That playoff streak is on the line. The only driver to ever make the playoffs since the playoff format was implemented for the Truck Series in 2016. Crafton has always been there, but that streak is about to end. Could be ending this season. Then Lane Riggs finishes 25th and Stephen Parsons 26th. It's honestly fitting how they both finished right next to each other, and as you would expect, some words were exchanged between them. It was kind of a he said, she said type of situation. We got beef. We got some beef. Dean Thompson 28th. Then Bailey Curry finished 29th. Then Frankie Muniz 31st. He finished 20 laps down after his overheating issue. Caden Honeycutt 33rd. Like I said, he also finished the race running, but about 60 laps down. Taylor Gray 34th, another driver who was fuming after this race, was really furious. He also had a confrontation post-race with Ben Rhodes, but this one was obviously more tame on like the Riggs, Stephen Parsons situations. Rhodes was apologetic and he took 100% of the blame, and it was pretty clear he made a clear misjudgment there on the restart. He just got into the back of him. And then Brent Holmes 36 after crashing out early. So overall, pretty nice little clean race. Like I said, at least when they ran under green, when the race actually got going and we had like this kind of long green flag runs, because there were moments where shit got crazy and some drivers just didn't know how to restart, which led to a couple of back-to-back yellows. But once the race got going, we did see some nice little clean racing, which, again, like I said, for today's Truck Series standards, I will always appreciate some clean racing. You guys know how chaotic the Truck Series can get sometimes. The one thing I want to see the most out of these truck races is clean racing. And I don't care that a single guy led all of the laps. This was a pretty decent truck race. That's all I'm going to say. So, nice little quick nice quick little video. Now the truck race is out of the way. Let's see what this Xfinity race has in store for us. See ya.